It's the Just Believe Show. I'm your host, Serby Mac. So today's episode, I'm going to answer some questions. I've been getting a lot of questions at speaking events, at my DMs, in the emails, and sometimes in person when I'm walking around. People are starting to know who I am. It's weird, to be honest with you. But with that being said, it's time for me to really just do something like this. I feel like this is the best moment and opportunity, especially now that it's Suicide Prevention Month. And I can't really respond to everyone. I get texts from friends and texts from loved ones and all of this. Hey, I got this question about this and this. Dude, I can't. I'm only one person. I can only answer one person at a time. So today's episode, I'm going to answer about 9 questions or so. Won't be too long. I might go on a rant. I promise I'm going to go on a rant because it's one thing that grinds my gears. Actually, let me just go into the rant now before I start answering some questions. Me being in the mental health suicide prevention community, there's a language that we use when we talk about someone dying by suicide. Notice how I use the term dying by suicide. We stopped using the term commit suicide. Like, oh, this person committed suicide. Oh my God, what a tragedy. We stopped using that term. We actually use die by suicide. And the reason why we use die by suicide is, one, that person didn't commit a crime for unfortunately taking their lives. And you want to show grace to that family. Man, they're hurting. You don't want them to think of this person in a negative way or anything like that. You just want to actually give them space to heal and be actually empathetic. So we use the term die by suicide. Some people use the other term as far as completed suicide. So please stop using commit suicide. Just thank you. We get offended by it, but we know this for years. That was the term that everyone knew. Oh, this person committed suicide. And now in life, we move forward. We don't move backwards. Please just use this person died by suicide or completed suicide. Either one are acceptable. So now that I'm off that rant, here we go. Question number 1. What is suicide prevention? This is a answer that I'm going to provide because most people think suicide prevention is just throwing out the 988 suicide prevention lifeline number or telling people text talk to 741 and you can text it out. That is only for when someone's in crisis, when they having those ideation at an all-time high or even attempts. That is the last resource to use. I look at suicide prevention as far as everything from, does this person have access to food? Are they eating all the time? Does this person have access to take showers, doing the daily things that we do all the time, as far as brushing teeth and washing, feeling clean? Does that person have affordable housing? Does that person have affordable healthcare? Do they have access to healthcare to get the proper needs met? So it's one of those things that we have to look at everything. And if they're part of the LGBTQ plus community, are they being identified correctly by their family, by their peers? They go by they. Are you calling, hey, they, how are you doing today? Are you showing them the respect that they desire? That is something that how we can prevent suicide. It's just really being honest, looking at everything from how that person lived, does they have a job? And yeah, for some people, they make, man, everyone eats every day. It's not like that. Today could be Friday. That person haven't had a meal since Sunday. But they're too embarrassed to say, hey, I don't have any food. I'm barely making it day to eat. And for some other people, like, hey, why don't you get government assistance? Not everyone is brave enough to get a government assistance. Not everyone knows how to get government assistance. So you can't really assume that everyone have all these needs met. To some people, that is just the daily essentials that everyone needs. And not everyone have access to that. So we look at how that person is living overall. That is suicide prevention. You notice some people who die by suicide die from financial reasons, divorce, being a part of their environment of, man, I can't live this life anymore. It's too stressful. I don't have any other options but to take my own life, which is sad. So we sit down and just look at that person's life and see how can we prevent that. That is one of the steps that we can prevent suicide. Next question. Does the suicide prevention lifeline work? Yes, they do. I've called that myself numerous of times. When I attempted 8 years ago, that was the number I got. I called and it was relieving. Have someone create space for me, let me be vulnerable, was listening to understand instead of listening to respond. Saying, hey, look, this is what I'm hearing. You sound like you are at an extreme crisis right now. Why don't you Baker act yourself? Check yourself into a behavioral health center. And I did. And after I got out, I still didn't know how to navigate. And I called them just to see, hey, what can I do that can empower my mental health? And they was providing tips and also support groups. And I was like, what is a support group? Never heard of that. And they was giving me insight on that, recommending that I do something like that. I did. Joined a support group, actually a basketball team. They told me to go be active. Not a basketball team, I'm sorry, a softball team. They told me to go be active, and I was active, and I had people that held me accountable. But also, there wasn't no pressure to do things that I didn't participate. And that was just all me calling the suicide prevention lifeline number. And nowadays, you can text. And I get it. Most people don't like to be on the phone anymore. It's like, hey, just text me. To actually text talk, or you could text home 741. Like, you can actually just talk it out or text it out. That helps out. This is another question that I always get. How can I get involved in suicide prevention? It's going to be pretty simple. Pretty simple answer. Just share some content. With social media at an all-time high, you have all these apps. There's crisis numbers out there that, especially like during this month, September Suicide Prevention Month, even it's also National Recovery Month as well. People showing crisis numbers, showing support groups, just sharing that. You can have probably 10 social media followers, right? You don't know if any one of those 10 are affected by anything. They may be going through a mental health challenge. And it says that, and this is something that most people don't think, oh man, it's not going to happen to anyone that I know or anybody that knows me or whatever. It said that one in 5 people experience a mental health episode. You're like, oh, Herbie, that's 20%. That's not that many. Just the fact that it's one is enough. Being able to share content that resonate with you, sharing support groups, hotlines. You may see a skit of someone adding some comedy and talking about their mental health and making it so relatable that may resonate with you. Whether you have 10 followers or you have 10 million followers, you just sharing that, even though you may not talk about mental health or even talk about suicide prevention, may resonate with someone who follows you. Or it might be somebody that you work with that you'd be like, hey, man, hey, yo, I saw this skit. Check this out. He's talking about work and talking about the importance of taking PTO. And also PTO is prepare the others because he need a mental health day. That is relating to everyone. That sometimes we get overwhelmed with not only work, but life. And we do need those days to relax and recharge and regroup and say, hey, I had a bad day, but it's not a bad life. So just simply sharing content, sharing crisis numbers, sharing support groups that you may get with your social media family, your coworkers, whether you're best friends with them or even acquaintance or even people that's in your group chat. You can just simply hey, I saw this. I'm just sharing it, just putting it out there. Don't know what you're going through. So that's how you can get involved. Another question that I always get, how can I donate to suicide prevention? I know there's massive organizations out there, the big dogs, as I like to call them, as far as NAMI, as far as AFSP and others that, hey, they talk about mental health, they talk about suicide prevention. Let me donate there. Let me actually volunteer there. There's actually a lot of mom and pop nonprofit organizations that lost a loved one to suicide that they're like, man, you know what? I can actually donate my time and energy for that. So what can you do? Hey, do you guys need any help? I see that you have this event going on. Do you need anybody to greet people? Do you need anybody to help set up? Do you need anybody to help break down? Or, hey, I have a space that you can use where you can actually use to run your support groups or to have an event or do anything like that. Small organizations. And I don't say this out loud, and I need to start saying this out loud. So Gillian Anderson, please don't kick my ass. I'm actually a board member of My Friend Abby. My Friend Abby is a small organization that, honestly, Gillian is a superhero in her own. She unfortunately lost her daughter Abby by suicide, and she decided not to just keep that story to herself. She actually decided to pour into her community and share with the youth, because Abby was in high school when she had died by suicide. So now she realized the importance of talking about it, especially to the youth, especially since the numbers are bad. And I don't want to say it out loud because I'm like, wow, when it comes to suicide, this is the third ranking cause of death between the ages of 10 and 19, which is wow. Why? To have a 10-year-old actually think about that is insane. To me, it's like, what? Then get out of here. But when you have these conversations with young adults or even youth, you get a chance to prevent it. And Gillian actually decided to just devote her life to it. But with these kids, she not only shares Abby's stories, she decided to, hey, we're going to create a scholarship for you so you could possibly go to school, possibly go to college and do something that can make an impact in that child's life. Because we all know high school is a very crucial years into what you want to do and how you want to do it and how to try to figure out life. And it can get overwhelming when you compare your life to this person's life and so on. But for Gillian to say, look, unfortunately, I lost a daughter due to suicide, but I'm actually going to help others in need. So anytime you donate to my friend Abby, she used it to create scholarships that would hand out to teenagers or youth or young adults are making an impact back into the community. So they have to do a project as far as something that's going to empower others with mental health and spread mental health awareness. That's just an organization that's just small that no one talks about. And there's so many. You may not be able to be like, oh man, NAMI don't have a spot for me. I tried. There's mom and pop organizations out there that's nonprofit that actually devote their life straight to suicide. So you can actually do something as far as that, donating not only money, but you can donate your time as well. Okay. With that being said, what is the next question? Should suicide prevention be taught in school? Based off what I just said about the numbers, yes, I believe they should. And I'm going to have some parents, I'm going to have people just going to be in my DMs, that's going to be in my comments, that's going to send me an email saying, no, what should you do and this and that. Being able to catch when someone's having a mental health episode early can change everything. When you start noticing people behavior patterns, the way they dress, their appearance, the language that they use, it's like, man, you never talked about this. I noticed that you're giving away stuff. I noticed that you're not dressing as sharp as you used to. I noticed you seem distant. You're isolating yourself, especially in schools. You see it. You experienced it. You're in school. Certain people don't have certain groups that they're in. You may not be part of the cool kids. You may not be part of the kids who play sports. You may not be part of the girls who love to do makeup and so on. And you're all by yourself. And you may have a situation at home that you are dealing with that you're uncomfortable to talk about. You don't know how to talk about it. But when it comes to school, I feel like it should be, because you can catch these signs, not only for the students, but guess what? For the teachers as well. When you work with your peers and you've been working with them for years or even like months and you notice their behavior change, you're going to catch it more. You're going to catch it faster than their family because you're around them 40 hours a week at minimum. And you can have that dialogue and conversation. And this is how we can prevent suicide, is by noticing the signs and the symptoms early. Now, this is something that I get asked so often. Are suicide prevention programs effective? And they are. I don't talk about this out loud, which I need to. I'm a certified Safe Talk trainer and also a suicide intervention specialist as well. I got certified in Safe Talk. Not Safe Talk. Fortunately, I had 4 people that I was noticing the signs of suicidal ideation. And out of the 4, one of them was going to attempt that same day. I was able to save their lives just by noticing the signs, just by having that conversation. And I get it. When it comes to having a conversation with someone and asking them, looking them in their face and saying, hey, are you thinking about suicide? That is very difficult to have. And not everyone can have that conversation with them. But the great thing about the Living Works one and Safe Talk is Safe Talk, you can identify if they're having the symptoms and the signs and you hear the language, you can ask them and they teach you how to just connect them to someone who can have that difficult conversations so you don't have to. And you're doing your part. Yes, they do work. I can advocate for that. And the evidence-based stuff that they use is incredible. So it does work. I can recommend that. This is something that I haven't. If you guys like this type of content, if you want more of me answering your questions, please let me know. You can comment, you can DM me, you can say, hey, we want more of this type of thing, and I'll do more episodes like this. So, next question. How can we increase awareness about the importance of mental health and suicide prevention within our community? I like to say this. Having these conversations out loud helps out so much. In my community, I was always told what happens in this house stays in this house. So don't tell anybody our business. Not realizing that keeping all that emotions and that trauma bottled up inside was going to take me to a place that I had never thought in my lifetime that I was going to have. Suicidal ideation and attempts. Normalizing conversations about your mental health, about seeking help, whether it's getting a counselor, a therapist, or hiring a coach to help you be the best version of you. It's so important to have these conversations. How can we increase awareness about the importance of mental health and suicide prevention in our community? To be honest with you, having these conversations out loud, this is how we can spread awareness. In my community, I was always told what happens in this house stays in this house. So don't be telling anybody our business. And I didn't realize keeping all my emotions, the traumas, the things that I experienced, having that all bottled up led to me having suicidal ideation attempts because I wasn't allowed to have conversations about my mental health, let alone talking about suicide out loud. When you start having dialogue and conversations, this can save so many people. It's not even funny. This helps out in so many ways. Whether you're having a conversation with your friends, your co-workers at the water cooler, or you're on social media, just talking out loud, just saying, hey, today I don't have it. Today I'm not feeling like me. This is how we normalize these conversations, talking about mental health. Hey, I'm actually thinking about seeking a therapist. I'm actually thinking about getting some counseling. I'm actually thinking about hiring a coach. Just spreading awareness in that way. It's so easy, especially for like me and my community. Being at the barbershop, we always would talk about sports, movies, hip hop, music. But when it came to mental health, we wasn't, no, we're not talking about that. But now we fast forward. And, ever since the pandemic, things have changed. People realize the importance of mental health. And from here, I'm not even going to lie to you. I done seen like leaps of, man, this person's talking about their mental health now. This person's talking about they're struggling. They're actually thinking about seeking help. It only can get better. And the only way it can get better is just having these conversations out loud. So that's how we can do it. How can we improve access to those individuals in needing of suicide prevention services? I think over time it's getting better. For those who don't know, 988 they actually added American Sign Language where you can video someone for those who are deaf and hard of hearing. So having that is crucial for those individuals who need the assistance that want to communicate but don't know how to because they can't do it over the phone. But now you can actually FaceTime someone and have that conversation with them, and it can get you. They speak your language. So breaking barriers like that for those who have disabilities can help out in so many ways. Advocating for those too, because not everyone is strong enough to fight that fight. Hey, I'm struggling. How can I help? Just, you need this? Let's talk about it. Let's promote this. Hey guys, we need to talk about, I'm just using this as an example. We just need to talk about the deaf and hard of hearing community. They need this, they need that. Just standing up as a unit and advocating for those who can't fight that fight, or just being allies with them and helping them fight that fight. So that's what I would like to say. Okay, next question. This is going to be the final one. I'm going to wrap it up. What strategies can be employed to foster a sense of empathy and support within family and communities for individuals struggling with suicidal thoughts? For those who are having suicidal thoughts, and we lean on friends and family, and when you are not being heard, that is one of the hardest things. Because as I said earlier in here, most people like to listen to respond to what they say instead of listening to understand and not judging them. Because when someone is telling you that they have these thoughts, they're being weak, they're being vulnerable. They're not here to be judged. Oh, you better be grateful for this. You got to be grateful for that. Hey, how can I support you? This is what I'm hearing. I don't have all the answers. And together we can sit down and I hope hold your hand to Google some stuff, reach out to some resources. I'm here for you. Do you want to call 988? I'll be right here. Hell, I'll be on the phone with you. Really being there to give someone a safe space, especially during their darkest times, being honest and vulnerable with you and providing that beacon of hope for them. Like, I hear you, but it's going to get better. You know why? Because I got your back. I'm going to support you. As I said, this is one of these episodes I just decided like last minute to just say, hey, let me just answer these questions. If you guys want more of that, please let me know in the comments. If you're watching on YouTube, if you see this on social media, just comment and just say, hey, we would like more of this. We like more Q&As, and I would provide more content like that. With that being said, don't forget to hit the like, smash, review. Just believe. I'm out. Peace.